My next big challenge is going to be greasing the rear end. I don't know how long it's been since this rear end plug was out on this old 57 Ford rear end. It wouldn't surprise me if it hadn't been out since the dang thing was made. But it's good and stuck. That's it right there. And first thing I'm going to do is take a grinder and grind all the paint away from around the edges of it. I may wind up, it's supposed to be made where you can put a socket up in the end of it, but it looks like it's so full of ground and dirt. I tried to hammer one in there the other day and I couldn't get one in there. I may wind up sticking the socket on there and just kind of welding it to the tip. What that'll do is that'll heat that plug up, burn all the paint and the rust away. There's a good chance I might can slip it out once I do that. I have done that kind of thing before when I've had bolts that are rusted in so bad, but since I don't have a set of torches to heat them with, sometimes that works. We'll see. Okay, welcome to the underside of my hot rod. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this plug out right here. It is right full of dirt, and if it wasn't, this socket would go all the way up in there. It'll go in there a little bit, but not much. Before I get fancy and do any welding or anything, I thought I would try chipping out as much dirt as I could, and there's quite a bit coming out. You notice when I do this. There's dirt. Dirt that's been up in there for years. Dirt, rust, all that fun stuff. Maybe if I get enough of that out, I can get that piece of socket extension in there and turn that and grease that rear end, which I'm pretty sure it probably needs. If this thing hadn't been out that long, I'm pretty sure it needs some grease. It's interesting when you buy old cars. I've bought them and poured a boatload of grease in the rear ends. Kind of thing people almost never do. They almost never check the grease in the rear end. It's funny, you buy an old one. It's a pretty good old car. You check the grease, you'd be surprised at how empty it is. Of course, when it's empty, it doesn't do anything but wear the gears out. It's pretty important to have a little grease in all the major places. So, speaking of grease, I want to grease this U-joint. My grease gun's empty. I got to go to the hardware store and get some grease for my grease gun. But it's all important stuff. That's what keeps things from wearing out. If this would go in there, ooh, I made some progress. That felt pretty good. Let's put a wrench on it just to see. Y'all wish me luck. This could happen here. If it did, that would be very sweet. Let's see. Look, it turned. Okay. That's a beautiful thing. I'm a happy camper. That means I can grease this rear end. The other thing I need to do with this rear end is probably put a set of wheel seals on each wheel, which I'm going to do before I drive it much. Look at that. Life is good. Yes, sir. Life is good. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing with this I did with the transmission. I'm going to use this little piece of crooked pipe to try to get as much of this stuff into there as I can. This is actually Posi traction rear end treatment stuff that I'm putting in here. And after I put it in there, I will put in regular rear end grease. And I'm willing to bet that this will take, I'm positive it will take every drop of this and have plenty of room for more. I've got another can of grease, and what I'll do is I'll put what I have in here. If I have any left over, I'll squirt a little bit in that transmission. It'll be good for it. Don't hurt it now. Yeah, just every drop. I think of these gears and they're just singing a happy tune because they have some lubrication, you know, which they probably haven't had in a very long time. Obviously, if this thing was bony dry. So, there's that. Okay, this is the final shot of this. That grease is kind of thick and it takes it a while to run out of the jar, so I put me a hose clamp on here and just sort of prop that bottle up where that can just sort of run down. And I'm just going to leave it sit that way for a little while and then let it drain out whatever's left in the bottle. And then next time I go to the store, I'll pick up some more grease and some more transmission fluid, and we'll take things from there.